The Jeep Grand Cherokee is one of those vehicles we don't actually talk about very much, which strikes me as odd because it's something that you see everywhere. This is a very likable and very easily drivable SUV. Now, it gets a mid-cycle refresh. Oh, there's a little graphic I haven't seen in a while. But the most significant change is something that you might not actually see. The 3.6-liter Pentastar V6 is still the base model engine on the Laredo and the Laredo X. However, now Jeep is imbuing its Grand Cherokee with the turbocharged 4-cylinder Hurricane. No, it is not the 6-cylinder, the inline 6 that everybody was kind of hoping and dreaming and thinking and wishing for, and it's 420 horsepower. But I think in this application, for this customer, in this vehicle, I think this engine is very appropriate. This Hurricane is going to give you 324 horsepower. That is up from 295 in the V6 offering. Now, couple things that I actually like about it. Once you get up to the 3,000 RPM, which is where you're getting your max power, between 3,000 and 6,000 RPM, this thing feels formidable. It's got great juice. It makes killer noise. You can hear the turbos whirring. You feel plenty powerful. But before that, you do definitely feel a little bit of turbo lag. Okay, so I'm gonna just do a really quick start from a standstill here, just so you hear the noise and so you see a little bit of the lag. So, could you hear it? Did you feel it? I did. Okay, so now I'm gonna put this in auto mode. Again, there's no one behind me right now, so caution. Okay, floor, 1, 2, 3, yeah, it's about 2.5, 3 seconds of, you have a little bit of inertia, but it really just, it has to think about it for a moment. It has to warm up to you. It has to make sure that, like, it knows you're gonna buy it dinner. You know, all those things. Jeep has paired this 4-cylinder Hurricane with an 8-speed automatic transmission. Now it's a transmission that I like, that I have used many times in the past and I have no issue with. And everything that I say right now, let's caveat it by saying I'm not sure that a lot of people are going to be driving in the fashion that I am currently driving, which is in sport mode, on a windy mountain road, in a spirited fashion. And I have been finding that around turns, it feels like the transmission has been fighting a little bit with the turbo lag. A little bit of uneven power delivery, a little bit of maybe sort of gear searching, so that it is a little bit herky-jerky, a little bit stuttery, but only it just kind of in the feeling of it. Again, I am not 100% convinced that anybody is going to be driving like that. The only way I can imagine that you would be is if you're trying to get onto like an on-ramp on a freeway or something. But just know that to me there is maybe a little bit of a disconnect between those two mechanical functions. And I would like to see it maybe a little bit more improved and smoothed. You're giving me a sport mode, so expect that I'm going to drive kind of sporty. Just a quick note about my issues with the powertrain and power delivery going uphill in sport mode on a very windy road. I spoke to Jeep about this,
They did take the car out and they were able to replicate the issue. To me, it felt like the transmission was just not holding gears quite long enough to do some of the turns that I was doing on really tight hairpins. Again, I'm not 100% sure how many people are going to be driving it under these circumstances, but Jeep did acknowledge that there were some power delivery smoothness issues and assured me that they were looking into how the gearing was tuned when you are in sport mode.
This is not a ding against this powertrain. I'm actually really curious to see how this performs. This is a brand new powertrain for Stellantis. Literally the only thing that it shares with any other Hurricane product is the oil filter. So we'll see over time how it does. The folks at Stellantis are using turbulent jet injection technology here, which the only thing you really need to know about that is that the combustion is just happening faster. It's like going from a lighter to like a flamethrower. So hopefully getting that boost just a little bit quicker to feel a little bit faster off of the line. Do I think it is successful? Again, after 3,000 RPM, yeah, I do. But even in sport mode, when you put your foot down, you mash it to the floor, you are still going to be waiting a second or two before you get into the meat of that power band.
When it comes to fuel economy numbers for that Hurricane engine, you are looking at 21 in the city, 27 in the highway, and 23 combined MPG. On that 3.6-liter Pentastar V6, you're getting 19 in the city, 26 in the highway, and 22 combined.
So when it comes to how the Grand Cherokee drives, like I said in the intro, this is a very, very drivable car. It's very comfortable. I'm on a very uneven road, some very imperfect pavement here, and the comfort level is high. I mean, I might even go as far to say that it feels a little like I'm on an air suspension when I am indeed not on an air suspension. So highly comfortable for everyday driving. Now, this is a Jeep, and you do have options when it comes to your 4x4 if you do choose to spec your car in that way, because you can just get this as a 4x2. This is a 4x4. You have three options when it comes to off-road systems. So you can do the Quadra-Track 1, which this is equipped with, which is basically, to me, it is a very sophisticated all-wheel drive system that does give you grip at all four tires, which is terrific. But the Quadra-Track 2, that comes with a transfer case, and that will get you into those lower gears, get you a lot more traction. There is also Quadra Drive, which will give you a limited slip differential and some more goodies and some great stuff that will actually get you to be even more capable. So I like the fact that you have options here. I think Jeep always is putting out vehicles that even if you don't take them off the beaten path, they should at least be able to go off the beaten path, and they always deliver as far as I'm concerned. And it's good to know that cars that have that Quadra Drive system can be equipped with an air suspension. So I'd be really curious to drive them back to back and just see how different the sensation is driving that versus this, because again, I feel this is quite comfortable and quite luxurious when it comes to the suspension tune. So one other reason why I think it might be tuned just a little to the floaty side of things, or shall I say like the comfy, cozy side of things, this sucker can tow 6,200 pounds. When you are pulling a load of that size, then you're going to definitely feel a lot less of that float. So they have had to straddle, I think, a very fine line between how it performs under that kind of stress and how it performs under normal driving conditions. Just a couple of comments about the driving experience within the cabin. It's very lovely, it's very comfortable, although I will say this, I did just get into the brand new Cherokee, and I might like that interior layout a little bit better. Visibility, I think, too, is pretty stellar here. Very raked windshield, but a nice wide open view. I think visibility over both of my shoulders is pretty solid. You have extensive safety features and, you know, eyeball cameras everywhere just in case you can't see something. As far as quiet, it feels very lovely and premium in here. This is a great vehicle to go on a road trip for, or to just be in for a long commute. So, you know, we've always felt that about the Grand Cherokee. This just has to become more top of mind for me because I don't know why I don't think about it as much as I should when I'm comparing this to other vehicles. So, shame on me. Jeep did make some very small changes to the front. The grille and the fascia are a little bit different, but boy, it's going to take a very discerning eye to figure out what those changes are, which is fine by me because I honestly think this was a swell looking vehicle, and I'm glad that they didn't do anything super dramatic to the way that it looks. You can get the Grand Cherokee as a 2 or 3 row SUV, the latter being the Grand Cherokee L. Now, the L doesn't just cram a 3rd row into this. They do give you a little bit more room, a little bit of a longer wheelbase, so you have more interior and an actual usable 3rd row. So there have been, again, some very slight tweaks to the interior on the Grand Cherokee. The biggest one, is probably in this area, which is a bigger screen. This is a 12.3-inch touchscreen. Now, this does not come standard across all of the trims. On the Laredo and the Laredo X, you are going to get an 8.4-inch screen, but it does have the Uconnect 5 system on it. It's not actually as quick as I would like, but I think the graphics look really nice, and I do like that it's a customizable system. You can also get a passenger screen over here like you can on the Grand Wagoneer. But honestly, like, I'd love to actually hear your comments and your thoughts on that because I'm not 100% sure that this is really worth the money. If everyone has a phone and you're just on your phone, like, do you really need that? You can get upgrades with different trims, including a Macintosh sound system, which we absolutely love. Heated and ventilated seats that are very handsome. This interior runs the gamut from utility on a base model Laredo starting at $40,410, including destination, to a premium top-of-the-line Summit that starts at $62,190. Now, both of these prices are for the 2-row models. You add $2,000 for the extra row of seats. You can add packages, including a tow package, and the limited altitude package on the limited trim includes a dual pane panoramic sunroof and 20-inch wheels, and the luxury tech group 2, which includes extras like leather seats, an off-road camera, a wireless charging pad, and some additional safety assistance features, among other things. Limited Reserve and Summit only come as 4x4s, and you can get extras like a head-up display and de-icer above and beyond a generous standard amenity set. And you can get a hands-free driving assistance system on that Summit, but it will cost you an extra almost $3,000. But heated and cooled 2nd row seats, tons of luxury touches and features make you feel like you're getting quite a bit for your over $60,000 Grand Cherokee. So there are so many different ways that you can spec and build your Grand Cherokee, whether it's the Grand Cherokee or the Grand Cherokee L, that sometimes this makes me feel like it's in the truck realm with all of its customizable options. I think that's actually really great for customers because there's definitely not a one-size-fits-all scenario. And I do actually appreciate what Jeep are doing now with their pricing. They really have offered customers some discounts in a time when we are all really looking to sort of be really careful with our wallet and what is flying out of it. So definitely check the amenities that are coming along with it because I think the offerings, what you're getting for your money, you're actually getting a really fantastic deal. And I tip my hat to Jeep for really paying attention to that. So maybe it's our bad that we haven't really been talking about the Grand Cherokee as much as we should. Jeep certainly is giving us a lot of compelling reasons now to talk about it more and make it more a part of the conversation. It has interesting powertrains, now a new one that is quite compelling, as well as some very competitive pricing and some very interesting standard features and packages. So if you haven't been looking at the Grand Cherokee, then maybe it's something you should be doing too.